Memorial Day weekend is motorsports weekend. The Indianapolis 500 and Coca-Cola 600 take place tomorrow. But tonight from Charlotte, it's the opening round of the 2012 Global Rallycross Championship.
He goes end over end. Travis Pastrana going for the finish line. You want to go now? It's down to the first corner. It's all unbeaten. Oh, he's gone off immediately. Pastrana gone. Pastrana gone. Pastrana racing. Deegan's going to do it, I reckon. And Deegan in the Ford Fiesta wins. Woo!
Welcome here this evening to Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 2012 Global Rallycross Championship is underway. Toby Moody and Jen Horsey up here in the commentary booth. We've had some great racing already here tonight. Fantastic action that we're going to have throughout the 2012 season, Jen, and big names as well.
Travis Pastrana, Ken Block, Tanner Faust, Marcus Grönholm. It doesn't get better than that.
It certainly doesn't, and some explosive action with some fantastic racing cars, some fantastic rally cars, and explosive acceleration. Give me some numbers.
0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds. That's all you need to know.
We've already seen some action here tonight, and this is how we called it. Here is the Discount Tire, America's Tire starting grid for the first heat that we've got here this evening at Charlotte. Marcus Grönholm, a two-time world champion in World Rally, is on the pole position. Ken Block with his Ford Fiesta, and then Dave Mirra and Richard Burton. We've got Fords, we've got Subarus here as we're awaiting the start of this first heat here of this three-quarter-mile racetrack here in Charlotte, because the 2012 championship is underway. What a brilliant start from Marcus Grönholm from the pole position. He takes the shortcut immediately. Now everybody has to take the shortcut on one lap of the 6 that we've got here today.
And that's a really interesting strategy move on Ken Block's part. You saw him follow into the shortcut. That's something he said he was going to do because he didn't want to lose time going into the shortcut, having to brake and then be at a disadvantage.
So Marcus Grönholm, he's taken the shortcut. He's leading on the road at the moment ahead of Block. The two Ford Fiestas, one of them built in Sweden. That's the light blue Ford Fiesta of the Finn. Have you got that? It's very international here this evening of Marcus Grönholm. And then the Ford Fiesta of Ken Block, who's running behind him. They have taken the shortcut. Therefore, they are leading on the road. The two people who have yet to take the shortcut, Mirra and Burton.
So what we're doing here now is we're waiting for Mirra and Burton to take that dive into the shortcut. We think the shortcut's about 10 seconds. It takes about 10 seconds off the lap time. And when they come together, we'll only know then who's ahead.
Now, we never see any wet running here at a NASCAR race, Jen. We've got water on the road. What's going on?
These guys can run in any condition, and we wanted to put them to the test, so we've got a water spray feature up on one of the hairpins here, and there's a little water coming out of the water barriers, and we don't mind.
Okay, down to the far hairpin. These guys go. Oh, and Burton stopped right in the middle of the racetrack. Marcus Grönholm nearly tailgated him. It was nearly a bit of a moment there. Now, oh, and he's clipped the barrier already. And so does Block before he takes the jump. They won't stop the race. We're going to continue.
As long as there's no damage to that car, they'll just keep racing around these obstacles. That's what Rallycross is about.
Over the water we go. Marcus Grönholm still got the advantage with his Ford Fiesta ahead of Ken Block, who just gets over the grass there. In rallying parlance, they call it ditch hooking. It somehow means that the inside two tyres are hanging on. Now we're riding on board with the leader of this race.
Look at Marcus Grönholm's intense focus here. He's out front, he's not looking at a car behind him, and he's driving very methodically. He's excellent on the line here. Shifting through the gears, little bit of counter steer there, and over the jump.
We were jumping like, look at the jump from Ken Block. That's the biggest jump that we've seen here today. The crowd are on their feet underneath our commentary position. And oh, what a crowd. Block's in the wall.
Oh, no.
And he's broken his suspension immediately, Jen. He's going to have no jump. Both wheels.
Oh, that's going to be really tough for him. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it the rest of the way around the course. Oh, handling impossible for him. There he goes, straight into the water barrier.
Ken Block has lost all steering with the monster Ford Fiesta. He was chasing the leader, Marcus Gronholm, and drama right at the very first race here this evening. We expected drama, but not so quickly, and there has been a red thrown. There is Ken Block. Look at that front end of the car. He's got a puncture with the front right. And, well, there's some very, very experienced rally mechanics with the Monster World Rally Team squad that are running Ken Block here this evening, Jen. But can they fix it?
That is pretty torn up, and I'm not sure if they're going to have enough time to get this car back in the heat. But you know what? They're going to thrash. They're veteran mechanics, and they're going to do everything they can.
So Block has managed to limp the Fiesta off the racetrack down towards the NASCAR pit lane. Goodness me, we have had some explosive action in the Global Rallycross Championship last year, 2011, and on the very first heat here today, we've had it all pretty well all at once. Burton's car just came to a halt. Remember that Gronholm and Block came through, they nearly tailgated the stricken green Subaru, and then Block just hit the wall. Now let's have a look at this. What are they going to be thinking as they approach the corner? And there's a car on the road, Jen.
You know, these guys adapt really quickly to the conditions that they can see, but my goodness, you come around the corner, there's a car, you don't know it's there. That's scary. And there goes Ken Block hitting a barrier that Marcus Gronholm moved out of the way. Then he's got to go over the jump and doesn't know what kind of damage he has.
Now then, when they went down to the next hairpin, Gronholm got through. Block had already hit the wall, and he had no steering, Jen. He didn't have a chance.
Yeah, I don't think he had very much steering. I think his suspension, maybe that wheel had been knocked in a little bit on the wall hit, and the suspension wasn't 100%, and then he just slammed into that wall. He's got a lot of work to do. The rear wheel even there looks like it's been moved out. Wow, those guys, those mechanics are going to have a lot to do. Hopefully Mike can catch up with them.
Ken Block still in the car. He's talking to the team on the radio as the helmet and the hands device comes off, and he has just realized that's a massive moment in the season for him. He's shaking his head. Disbelief for Ken Block. And you know, Jen, it's all the preparation in the world, and that little bit of water that is on the exit of that left-hand hairpin at the far end, it's there to catch people out, but an experienced driver such as Ken Block, we didn't expect him to get caught out like that. This is big news. Therefore, Marcus Gronholm was victorious in that dramatic first heat ahead of Ken Block, Dave Mirra and Richard Burton. Well, Marcus Gronholm managed to keep it cool down there, didn't he? My goodness me, looks like he's on a Sunday afternoon drive. Meanwhile, Mike Massaro is down there with Ken Block in the pits.
And Toby, as you might imagine, lots of work being done on this race car. Damage on all four corners of it. Not only did they rip the suspension apart, but also lots of damage sustained when they slammed the wall. So they've taken this car apart piece by piece, including parts of the cooling system. They've tried to reassemble it the best possible, trying to get ready for the next round. Initially, when this happened, I spoke with Ken Block, asking him how optimistic he was that they would be ready. He said, absolutely, no problem. I spoke with him moments ago, and he kind of shook his head and said, I just don't know. Toby?
There's a lot of work to do for the mechanics down there, but they can do it. They're going to give it their best shot, and if anybody can get things sorted, well, it's those guys. Okay, then. Here is the grid as we line up for our next heat, our second heat that we've got here this evening. Marcus Gronholm takes the pole position. Well, Block's not quite ready. Dave Mirra and Richard Burton therefore making it a three-car heat here this evening as the sun is beginning to disappear over the horizon here in North Carolina. That is the normal NASCAR pit lane. You can see the tire marks of the NASCAR nationwide cars that were racing this afternoon on the left-hand side. They're quick, the NASCAR machines, but they don't have the acceleration than these rallycross cars that we're going to see leap off the line in a few moments' time here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Marcus Gronholm in the light blue car on the right-hand side. Then we've got Dave Mirra with the yellow flash Subaru. Richard Burton with the older green Subaru closest to our camera. We're under starters orders. And we're away! Marcus Gronholm, what a brilliant start. He's leapt into the lead immediately, ahead of Dave Mirra. Richard Burton is struggling to get off the line. He's barely above walking pace, but it doesn't matter to the cool Finn, who's leading at the first half a lap of our 6-lap dash here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
We saw Marcus Gronholm and Dave Mirra go right into the shortcut right away. What that means, though, is that Mirra is behind Marcus Gronholm, and he's having to deal with a little bit of race traffic. Marcus Gronholm has a nice, clear course to race, and that's what you want to try and develop in this sport.
There is a little bit of water on the race track. There's a sort of a water splash on the exit of the far hairpin, opposite to where we are now, as these cars handbrake it round there, up the gearbox to third, to fourth, to fifth, and immediately back down the gearbox goes Marcus Gronholm over the jump. Not actually going as fast and as far as that car maybe could do, Jen, because they don't want to crash down onto the tarmac too hard.
No, they don't want to crash down into the tarmac because they're bottoming out on the bottom of that jump. If they over-jump that, they bottom out right on the track, and that's not good for the cars, it's not good for the track, and they don't want to put too much damage into their car this early in the race. Later on, I think we're going to see him take some much bigger jumps.
Marcus Gronholm was second in the 2011 Global Rallycross Championship. Tanner Faust rocked up the victor, but Marcus Gronholm, as a two-time World Rally Champion, would certainly like to take this 2012 championship here stateside. The pinnacle event being the X Games at the end of June. That's going to be a focus for the Ford squad. They took all 3 podium places in the 2011 X Games showdown. Can they do it again this year? Well, certainly the Subarus, the Hyundais are going to be having something to say about that.
The Fords have been dominant the last couple of years in X Games competition and in rallycross competition here in the United States, but those Subarus have been developed in the off-season and are doing much better this season. Much more power that they've got and a different kind of handling style, which we saw earlier, maybe a little bit better in the wet here. So it'll be interesting to see if Gronholm can get the advantage.
Gronholm, he's got really the Finnish blue that he has on the blue and white Finnish flag. It suits him very well with the Best Buy Ford Fiesta as he crosses the line now. That's another lap done. That's halfway done for the Flying Finn. It's a cheesy line, the Flying Finn. Most of them are, by definition, quick, and he's got such a lead, he can afford not to drift too far out and go close to that wall that Block hit. Look, you can see the Subaru there, Jen, struggling for traction, and he's going to spin it!
Spinning out, but he's just going to loop right around and head back out on the course. These guys are used to being sideways.
That's pretty classy, actually. That's pretty cool, if you can still finish second after donutting it.
Pretty classy, but, you know, maybe not the fastest way around the corner.
Now they go down the pit lane. This is the fastest parts of the 0.77-mile course that we've got here at Charlotte this weekend. Don't forget, it's a 5-round championship. We're moving on to Texas. That'll be part of the IndyCar Firestone 550. Then the X Games, New Hampshire. That is again part of the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And then the season finale at the end of September, Las Vegas, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. The race that we will be tying in with this Global Rallycross Championship. We are riding on board with the leader of this heat, Marcus Gronholm. We're on lap 5 of 6, another lap and a half to go as he spears down, electrifying acceleration. And you can hear, Jen, with the onboard microphone, he's not thrashing it.
No, I think Marcus is taking it pretty easy here. He wants to conserve the car and get it through and have lots left at the final tonight. There is a lot of racing left to be done.
And you could see him when we cut to that onboard shot on the left-hand side. He was looking across to see where Dave Mirra's Subaru was. He's being very savvy. Remember, when he's been rallying on the World Rally Championship scene, he doesn't really see another car out in the stage. But here, with Rallycross, you've got to be a bit more race savvy.
A little bit more race savvy, and he has some help with that. He's got a spotter up in the stands who's telling him exactly where Dave Mirra is, and that he should just slow down a little bit, conserve the car, conserve the tires, because that's going to be critical today, and get it to the finish line in first of this heat.
Again on the brakes goes Gronholm. There you see the light blue car at the top of your screen. Dave Meara, he in second place. Richard Burton, of course, he had a technical problem as soon as he let the clutch in. And Ken Block not in this heat after his dramatic first round wall thump that he did earlier. Gronholm is victorious in this heat. He will go through to the final together with Dave Meara, who is just coming through the final chicane and across the line as we speak. Gronholm and Meara are guaranteed parts of our 8-lap, 10-car final that we will see here later this evening. Not a bead of sweat for Marcus Gronholm. Well, of course not. He's used to being in the sauna when he's back home in Finland. Let's have a look at the start, Jen.
Here we go. I'm expecting to see Marcus, and Marcus goes off the line first with Dave Meara behind him, and unfortunately, Burton stalls right on the line.
Marcus nearly lost it on the exit of that left-hand hairpin. The cold tar's nearly catching out the big, tall, lanky 44-year-old Finn. And this is Meara understeering and then oversteering through the left-hander, but he kept his foot down. That is cool. Brilliant, as the exhausts are glowing red hot. Let's have a quick look at Marcus and a confirmation of the result. Marcus Gronholm victorious, and he will go through to the final together with Dave Meara. The Finn and the American, the Ford Fiesta and the Subaru. Global Rallycross is brought to you by Discount Tire, America's tire. And Ford and Dodge. We now look forward to our next heat here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Stay with us for more action.
Best way to describe Travis? The guy just has more fun than anybody else I know in the world. He just wants to be the best, wants to try everything.
How do you know which one to choose?
He's Travis, and that's his personality. Expect the unexpected. There's only one Travis Pastrana.
Be the best.
Is that okay?
An inner Mustang. Unleash yours. The new 2013 Mustang.
Niagara Falls, the ultimate torture test for a deck. The ultimate protection, Thompson's Water Seal. Chosen to protect the most water-drenched decks in America. The decks at Niagara Falls. Thompson's Water Seal. The most powerful protection against water damage, guaranteed.
Psst. Ever wonder if there's more out there?
How did you know?
Your lunch says it all.
Upgrade your meal with Wendy's new signature sides, like our chili cheese fries or baked sweet potatoes. Sides that make the meal. That's Wendy's way.
Now that's better.
You get in the zone long before the race. Get your head right and focus. On race day, you don't leave anything to chance. Get set every morning with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Its microcomb guides hair for its thinner blades to cut close. Great starts begin with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide.
Welcome back here to Charlotte Motor Speedway in North Carolina. Our 2012 Global Rallycross Championship has got underway in more than an explosive manner. The very first heat has been quite electrifying. Now this is live pictures with Travis Pastrana. It's been quite a day for Travis Pastrana. And let's catch up and see how Pastrana has got on during qualifying in the nationwide challenge this morning. He had a spin on the exit of turn 2, and he got back to the pits and he was scratching his head. Then in the race, he just got it a little bit loose as he came out of turn 4, and he was not allowed to go on the grass, but he didn't really have much option with the number 99 car. Then it was close once more for Pastrana. Tyres squealing, blue smoke pouring from underneath the car. And then, once he got into the Rallycross dodge, he touched with Brian Deegan. In fact, it wasn't a touch, it was a clout, it was a bang. And he had damaged his front steering, and he had no chance to go further during the first heat. Now, Mike Massaro has managed to catch up with Pastrana. Give us some news.
You know, I've spoken with Travis quite a few times today, first after the nationwide race, and to describe him as dejected would be an understatement. Things have not gotten much better here, as you just pointed out in that highlight, Toby. A broken steering arm for Travis Pastrana. They did make the repairs. In fact, Pastrana was able to take a mini test drive. He kind of spun the car around, went through turn 2 here on the high banks of Charlotte Motor Speedway, a bit down the back straightaway just to test that steering out, turned it around, headed back out to the starting grid. They gave me a big thumbs up. They feel like everything's good.
Now then, let's have a bit of a look and see what 0.77 miles of tarmac looks like here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for our 2012 Global Rallycross opening round. Off the line, some people opting for the shortcut immediately over the finish line, down to the left-hand hairpin. That's where the water splash is, onto the infield, hairpin right, then back down the normal NASCAR straight. You can take the shortcut if you haven't taken it already, but most guys, we are finding, are taking it immediately. Then through the far hairpin and over the long jump and over the finish line. Here's our look at the GoPro track preview, narrated by Ken Block.
Ken Block, we are at Global Rallycross Round 1 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm about to take you through one very quick lap. As we see here, me crossing that finish line all the way up to 6th gear. This is about 120 miles an hour. Downshifting into a hairpin all the way down to 1st gear. Then I go up to 2nd and 3rd into a quick left-hander and then into a right-hander. Short little straightaway back down to 1st for a quick little right-hander. Now here's the fast straight, so I take this corner in 2nd and 3rd gear. Now just up through the gears as quick as I can all the way up to 6th gear. Top speed at the end of the straightaway is about 120 miles an hour. Another hairpin, try and drive this one just as quick as possible. Up through the gears to 5th gear. Brake, get the speed down. Into 3rd, through the chicane and over the finish line. That's a lap.
Great onboard pictures from the Ford Fiesta, but it's the Monster World Rally crew who are working overtime. He crashed, he damaged the right-hand side of the car, both wheels not pointing in the same direction. They've got it up on the stands and they are still working. Will he have a chance to get into the last chance qualifier and be fixed by then? In the meantime, our second round of 4 is about to get underway. Tanner Faust, the reigning Global Rallycross champion, is on the pole position from Sverre Isaksson, the Norwegian. Stefan Verdier and Patrick Morrow make up our 4-car field here as we're about to get underway here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. There's a bit of creeping on the grid by Isaksson, and he has to check, and he's got it all wrong, and he's struggling to get off the line. He must have broken the gearbox in some point or two. Meanwhile, it's Tanner Faust who leads this race as they come down the home straight ahead of Stefan Verdier. Isaksson's in massive trouble, but here are the leaders down to the hairpin across the water for the first time of 6 here this evening. I remind you, the leading 2 out of the 4 cars in this heat will automatically go through to the 10-car final, and that's where they're going to get the points. Faust leads from Verdier, Ford Fiesta from Hyundai.
Up front there, I was expecting to see Sverre Isaksson, but we saw him on the start. He had trouble in the earlier session doing a jump start, and I think what he did was he set the car up, he was ready to go, and then he second-guessed himself.
We're riding on board with the leader of this heat. Look how cool he is. Look how purposeful he is. Up the gearbox, down the gearbox, over the jump that they have to take if they've come through the chicane closest to the fans here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And immediately he's all the way down the gearbox, down another gear, quick tweak of the handbrake there. That's the black lever that he's grabbing hold of, closest to the camera.
You saw him break way down before that turn with the water, and Ant Tanner's being very cautious there. He knows it's a massive, massive traction change.
Through the long left-hander he comes. The outside rear tire screaming under massive pressure, under 550 horsepower. Four-wheel drive. These cars, they're 1,300 kilos, that's just about 2,650 pounds in weight, but the electrifying acceleration really does take your breath away. You've been in them, Jen.
I have been in them, and you get pushed back in your seat. It's about 3 Gs of acceleration right off the start line there, and then when they're cornering on tarmac, they can pull a G1/2. It's a lot of force. These cars are incredibly powerful, 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds.
Past the place where Ken Block had that moment, just slipping on the wet conditions. There's a lot of water seeping out of the barriers here. They are obviously hollow plastic, but they've been filled with water and a lot of weight inside those barriers, which is what we saw just 24 hours ago with Tanner Faust and the Ford Fiesta when he clouted one of them and completely destroyed the front right-hand side of the car.
He's pussyfooting a little bit through the water, I think. And the other traction change that's happening, we're seeing it starting to get dark, and it's going to get a little cooler, which is going to change the track condition again. And I think it's going to even exacerbate the difference between the water condition and the dry tarmac condition. It's a huge tarmac difference. And these guys have to be prepared for anything. Some of these water barriers are leaking. So there's a water feature, what Tanner Faust is going through right now. That's expected water, and then he comes through this turn here, and the water barriers are leaking a little bit, and there's more water again, tougher again in this corner.
You can see the front brake discs are glowing red hot. Look at that. That is spectacular. And hey, Jen, the darker it gets, the more, even more spectacular it's going to be. Glowing front discs, spitting flame, and a red hot exhaust you can see at the rear of the car. This is rallying at its best.
This is indeed rallycross at its best, and I love it when I can see those brake rotors glowing. Part of it's a driving technique. When they reef on the handbrake, that's tough on the rear brakes. When they're left foot braking, that's tough on the front and rear brakes.
He comes across the line, he completes another lap. Don't let us forget that Stéphane Verdier with the Hyundai is in second position. He's about 8 seconds behind. We are on lap 5 of 6 here. There is your second place man, Verdier. He's squaring off the corner so that he doesn't go anywhere near that yellow pit wall that the NASCAR guys are going to be using during the Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow evening. Look at that exhaust. That is absolutely red hot. And that's the lead of Tanner Faust. That's nearly 9 seconds.
I'm pleased to see Stéphane Verdier out here, but this is one of the first times he's been behind the wheel of this Hyundai Veloster. He's brand new this year. He's been a privateer in previous years, and now he's in the Hyundai Veloster. Very excited for him, but the car's still in development, and I think we're going to see him and the car get much faster as the season progresses.
You can see the water pouring out of the barrier there when Verdier jinked left, then right before he jumped over the ramp that's in front of the fans here. There goes your leader, Tanner Faust. A lead of now about 11 seconds as the lights are shining in his face as he comes down past the pits. Look how spectacular it is. You can hear the gearbox, you can hear the gears, you can hear the whole transmission and the center differential screaming for help as he now bashes it up the gearbox. Hardly touching the clutch, bit of that's risky, that is risky, as he comes over the jump for the last time, and he takes the checkered flag for a guaranteed part of the final. Faust victorious here. Stéphane Verdier about to make it second place for him, as he is going to have a guaranteed place in the final later this evening. Well, big news for Sverre Isaksson. He had problems on the start. He was creeping a little bit, the Norwegian and reigning European rallycross champion. He's a big guy. He's got a heavy right foot. Look at the blue car with the yellow flashes. He was creeping, and he was struggling here, Jen. And then look, that jump must have broken something in the gearbox or something like that. Down to Discount Tire, America's Tire hairpin turn. He managed to get through there pretty good, but you've been noticing some different lines through there, Jen.
Did you see the rear wheel locked up? He reefed on the handbrake and went around that corner.
Let's have confirmation of the results. Tanner Faust has come through as the victor ahead of Stéphane Verdier. They will go through to the final here at Charlotte Motor Speedway tonight.
trust us. It's fast. The Veloster Turbo from Hyundai.
We build tires, but not tires like anybody else. We build Cooper tires for people, not just cars. People who are chauffeurs and shuttle pilots, heavy haulers and heavy hitters. More than what your Cooper tires can do, it's about what you can do with your Cooper tires. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go.
With Pizza Hut's $10 any carryout deal, we can get any delicious pizza for just $10.
Let's see how long it takes him this time.
To give you just what you want, we created the $10 any carryout deal. That's any pizza for $10. Pizza Hut, make it great.
How does good, better, best work? Simple. A 42-inch for $24.99 a week is good. A 47-inch for a little more is better. A 60-inch for a little more than that is best.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
3 of you.
The good, better, best sale.
We just got the Stevens account. Get Jacobs on the horn and schedule a meeting pronto. Order lunch, something fast, Smith.
It's Jones, man.
Right, look, we'll leverage a synergy on both.
Jimmy Jones?
Yeah, no, look, the boys. Make sure the Silverman file is on my desk ASAP. Did you order lunch?
Yeah, it's waiting for you.
Better be, Smith.
Still Jones, man.
Can't wait on this. Time is money.
Jimmy Jones.
Jimmy Jones. Order online now.
Nice job, Jones.
How many hours do you waste not advertising online? It's the number of new customers you want times 3 every day. Why 3? Because Americans are online in their free time nearly 3 hours a day. 3 hours. Reach them every hour, every day with Xfinity.com and over 30 other popular websites. Get started at ComcastSpotlight.com.
.com now.
Welcome back to the 2012 Global Rallycross Championship. It's the opening round, now under floodlights here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tomorrow on ABC, pole sitter Ryan Briscoe joins Dario Franchitti, Helio Castro Neves at one of the most historic racetracks of them all, the Brickyard. The Indianapolis 500 telecast presented by GoDaddy.com. Coverage of the greatest spectacle in racing begins at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, and all of it is on ABC. And Mike Massaro is down there here at Charlotte with a former Indianapolis 500 victor.
That is indeed right. Juan Pablo Montoya here chatting with Marcus Grönholm. What do you think of all this?
That's pretty cool. You know what I mean? I know Marcus when he rides, you know, the rally cars in Europe, and this is pretty amazing. They're really cool looking.
Lots of NASCAR stars taking this all in. Hey, Marcos, I know Juan has been apt to drive just about anything with 4 wheels. Could you make it happen for him? Can you think get him a ride in this series?
No, I don't know. I can drive maybe my car, but not these cars, what they use.
Well, maybe we'll have to broker a deal later on, Toby, but I think if anybody's going to feel the car for Juan Pablo Montoya, Marcus Grönholm would be the guy.
Well, great guys. Juan Pablo Montoya, he's an absolute motorsport fan, obviously a former Formula One champion, but he just loves anything that's got 4 or even 2 wheels, that's for sure. Now, we've got a few of you joining into the Twitter conversation here with our Global Rallycross, hashtag GRC. Let's hope that Ken Block 43 gets back in the show. Well, after that dramatic accident that he had in the very first heat, some people cheering for Ken Block. Nelly 882, loving the at Global Rallycross. Great form of racing. Hashtag GRC Charlotte. Now then, Travis Pastrana has managed to get the Dodge repaired after the broken front steering arm. He'll be in this race, but the man on pole position is Brian Deegan. Ahead of David Binks in the Ford Fiesta, Tim Rooney and Travis Pastrana. We're under starters' orders for our 3rd heat of 4 here this evening. I remind you that the winner and the 2nd place driver will go through to the final, and they're all off immediately. Brian Deegan with the grey Fiesta takes the shortcut straight away. Now he's done the shortcut once in these 6 laps. He's going to go flat out. David Binks, no! They almost mistakes. They do. Travis Pastrana, a near carbon copy, Jen, of what happened earlier.
But those guys managed it the way rallycrossers do. They bashed their doors, they fell in line, and on they go.
Is that car magnetic or something?
I'm not sure if it's magnetic.
Down to the hairpin. Oh, David Binks, he's going to lose it. He goes a little bit deep. They're touching once, they're touching twice. And David Binks is pushing because he can realize that he's now going to lose the lead. Pastrana leads on the road.
These guys are going to keep battling. One of them had better go to the shortcut soon, or they're going to be costing each other plenty of time.
Pastrana leading the battle for second position. Third is David Binks, who's gone through the shortcut. David Binks hits the water that's leaking out of the barriers here. Massive understeer. Let us not forget, Deegan's got a problem. Deegan's coasting, and Deegan has got a problem with the grey Fiesta, and now David Binks leads this heat. Will this Global Rallycross calm down this evening? No, it won't. David Binks leads from now Travis Pastrana, by our reckoning up here in the commentary box. David Binks with the Swedish-built Ford Fiesta comes on to the fastest part of the race course, and Deegan's got no gears, it looks like, Jen.
No, it looks like he's having trouble. He's talking to his crew there, signaling maybe he needs a push into the pits there because he can't get the car started to go in.
He's got no drive at all, and with 550 horsepower going through the gearbox, and we can see the stagger unravel, and Pastrana leads. What a turnaround Travis Pastrana has done from 3 spins on the 1.5 mile oval in his nationwide car. He crashed at this very corner at the first heat that was to seed the starting position for the heat that we are now in. Therefore, he started last on the grid, technically, Jen, and he's leading. What a great story.
This Dodge Dart is brand new to the series, and it's brand new to Travis Pastrana. He has not had much seat time in it, and I'm hoping that we're going to see him improve on every lap. And boy, he managed to get ahead of David Binks there on the shortcut. I think maybe he's learning to sling it around a little through these corners. Look at those front brake rotors glowing.
David Binks. Now, at this point on the last lap, he saw the blue Dodge spear in from the left-hand side. They are both now leading fair and square. Pastrana is 1.47 seconds ahead of the Ford Fiesta. What a great result this could be. Look at that. How do they not get brake fade?
I don't know how they don't get brake fade, but I can tell you when they hit the water, they're not getting much traction on those tires. And they will eventually cook their fluid. They will eventually get brake fade. These brakes are prepared to do that. They can go up to high temperature in the fluid for a good long time.
Pastrana grabbing a gear, now down the box. Once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, and brakes it with that black lever. He has a quick glimpse across through to the left-hand side. The lights that are illuminating the super speedway here are in his eyes as he cuts through the chicane and over the jump. You can see his head leaning forward, willing the car on, and he's doing a superb job, not only with the driving skill down there in the car, but from the letdown of today in the nationwide race and the qualifying, Jen, but the massive disappointment that he had really only about an hour ago.
I'm really happy to see Travis has got his head back in the game. It's interesting to watch his strategy and his technique through here as he goes through the turn. He's using the handbrake quite a lot. I don't think David's probably using it quite as much there, but it's certainly not hurting Travis. David's making up a little bit of time on the straightaway, but Travis is getting ahead of him on the turns.
It looks a much bigger car, the Dodge. Will it be that much harder to throw around?
It's a bigger car. It's more likely to go sideways. It's got a longer wheelbase. But the turn-in on the two cars, I think, is probably pretty similar. Certainly similar horsepower.
You can see the fans cheering on Travis Pastrana, but I've heard a few British accents out here this weekend. Yet, we do like Rallycross. We love it. It first started back in 1967 in the UK, and it's been nothing but explosive ever since, and it's really having a massive renaissance and then some with this Global Rallycross Championship as we start the last lap of 6 here, down to the Discount Tire, America's Tire hairpin for the final time. Travis Pastrana keeping it cool now under the floodlights here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Nice and neat through the final chicane, and he takes the flag and he's victorious in this heat. Travis Pastrana and David Binks guaranteed a part of the final, and a massive sigh of relief in the car for Pastrana. And let's give it up for the mechanics who have worked fantastically well to get that car even starting here a few moments ago.
It didn't look like he had a single technical problem the entire race. Great redemption for Travis Pastrana to have some success here in this heat.
This was great wheel-to-wheel racing between the two of them. Binks, that was the moment where he did overcook it. They hit once, they hit twice. The front wheel of Pastrana was lifted off the ground and then again down into this hairpin. This is where I thought it was all going to go wrong, Jen.
Yes, absolutely. David overcooked that first turn, but he holds his line here. He's not going to let Travis bully him out of the way. Oh, maybe he is.
Damage down the left-hand side of David Binks's car, and Pastrana then... This is the moment when he took the lead, when he had taken the shortcut, reminding you that they have to take the shortcut once in the 6 laps. But what about Brian Deegan, the man who started from pole position? He was leading on the road, and out of our sight, the thing just cried enough.
It's so hard to tell what happened here. He just stopped. Something must have broken.
Let's have a quick look at the results. Travis Pastrana and David Binks confirmed as going through to the final. Rooney and Deegan, they're going to be in the last chance qualifier. But Mike Massaro, have you got any news about Brian Deegan?
Yeah, as you saw, he lost drive. They're making the repairs now, replacing the transmission in this car. It could be a fairly lengthy repair, but the team is thrashing as we speak, hoping to get this thing ready for the LCQ.
Brian Deegan chewing his fingernails as the Ford Fiesta mechanics are working overtime to get him back in Global Rallycross for 2012.
Jeez. Check this out. Discount Tire is offering you a chance to win a trip for 2 to this year's Summer X Games. And you guys get the entire package, which includes airfare, hotel, $500 in cash, tickets to the event, and a rental car. Plus, you get to meet me, and we'll hang. You'll fly to LA on June 29th and fly back on July 2nd. Register to win right now.
The adhesive technology used to build airplanes is also available in your home. Loctite Power Grab, with instant grab and clear drying technology for flawless results. Power Grab construction adhesive, only from Loctite.
At Mobil, we believe your engine should last till this little one has little ones of her own. That's why we created new Mobil Super, proven to help reduce wear, prevent sludge, and extend the life of your engine. New Mobil Super for long engine life.
When you cheer, they fly just a little bit higher.
He hits it, the marble.
Go just a little bit further. They can even be perfect. And when we come together to cheer as one, we know what happens. Visa, proud sponsor of the Olympic Games for 25 years. Join our global cheer.
Give your garage a makeover. Right now at Guitar Center's Memorial Day weekend sale. With hundreds of deals in every department. Like this Epiphone Les Paul for $99. Grab some Shure mics for only $29. And load up on Martin strings. 5 sets for $15. Whatever your style, you can find hundreds of excuses to park your car on the street this summer at Guitar Center's Memorial Day weekend sale. In-store or online, now through Monday.
First thoughts when they said they were going to put a rallycross track in Charlotte was, this is going to be awesome.
This is race time.
You know, I think a lot of these people here don't even understand really how big it is to be here, you know?
To be able to be racing on tracks like the NASCAR ovals, it's absolutely fantastic.
You know, it's a big race weekend, and to be a part of it, it's historical.
This will be the biggest stage the sport has ever been on.
It's great to hear names like Tanner Faust and Brian Deegan saying what a big event this is, and it is a big event. Meantime, Monday on ESPN, a season-long journey is realised with an NCAA championship. Loyola take on Maryland. the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, ESPN3 and live on Watch ESPN. Now then, this is our final heat that is lining up here, and it's a bit of a super special heat because we've got not but 4 but 5 cars with Thomas Heikkinen on the pole position, furthest away from our camera. Hübinette, Millen, Lasek and Andy Scott, he's closest to our camera. So then, we're under starters' orders. It's a 6-lap crash, and we're ready to go when the lights go green, and they all get away brilliantly. Brilliant start from Heikkinen with the black Ford Fiesta. He takes the shortcut immediately together with Hübinette. That means they are leading on the road. What a great start from Andy Scott. Reese Millen, he's battling with the Hyundai, and also Lasek as they charge down the back section for the first time of 6. Here are your leaders. That's Heikkinen and Hübinette, the Ford and the Saab, understeering massively as more and more water is dripping, pouring out of these barriers, Jen. These guys are going to get caught out.
It's going to be tough, especially as the heat turns up and they're in huge competition mode. And what we're seeing here, we've got 2 packs on the course. So Samuel Hübinette is in behind Thomas Heikkinen, and his line, he can't quite see where he needs to go, and he's being slowed down by the competition. And then we have the other pack of 3 cars.
You can see the 3 cars on the right-hand side. Andy Scott now takes the shortcut, and he slots into 3rd position. Meanwhile, that is 4th and 5th, back with the leaders, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. It's as quick as that. A Ford and the 2 Saabs, and Hübinette, what a drive. He only did the deal 48 hours ago.
His drive in this Ineos car was announced yesterday, and good for him. The very first time he got to be in this car was during the practice sessions last night. He's doing incredibly well in the Saab 93. It's a powerful car, and he and Scott are actually teammates.
They're run by Per Eklund, a very, very successful Swedish World Championship rally driver, together with the British Championship. He then went on to do rallycross. You were telling me, Jen, he's been doing rallycross since... well, they built the Ark.
Since 1971, at least. Maybe not as long as the Ark, but he is the most winningest rallycross driver in history. He knows what he's doing, and he's giving these guys lots of good advice on the radio.
There is Reese Millen with his self-prepared Hyundai. He's now slotting into 4th place, and Hübinette sees an opportunity. He sneaks up on the inside ahead of Heikkinen, and he takes the lead. Heikkinen takes to the grass. Andy Scott right on his tail. Well, the 2 Saabs are certainly making this a Ford Fiesta sandwich.
The Saabs handle a little bit differently from the Ford Fiestas. They were all prepared in Europe, and they're prepared to start very well, but the Saabs I'm looking at, they seem to turn in a little bit sharper.
Reese Millen with the RMR Hyundai Pulse in 4th place. He's at the top of your shot. We are coming over the line for the 3rd time in just a moment. The Saab leads from the Ford, from the Saab, from the Hyundai. It's as quick as that.
And that's the Hyundai Veloster. He's got a little bit of magnesium on the underside of the car, so we're going to see sparks every time he flies.
Hübinette, what a fantastic drive. He's drifting in over the water that's been deliberately sprinkled onto this racetrack. But Thomas Heikkinen, what a drive. He's a youngster, but he has got world champion written all over him for the future.
Thomas Heikkinen is the youngest driver in our field at just 21, but he's been driving since he was 6 or 7 years old, started in karting and then did some Formula Renault in Europe. He's got a lot of experience, and when he was in practice a couple weeks ago with Marcus Grönholm, they practiced on the same day. They were basically matching times. Incredible driver.
We're riding on board with the youngster. Look how he snatches that gear change as he goes up the box, through the chicane, live as we jump over the jump on the home straight here, building up speed to nearly 125 miles an hour. It might not sound very fast, but it's the time that it takes for these cars to get there, which is just mind-bendingly quick.
0 to 60 in 2 seconds, and you know they're going up to 120, and then they're breaking down to 10 in a very short distance.
Heikkinen got a world record at the moment. He doesn't blink. Look at the concentration on his face. Look at the sweat now pouring from his brow.
Maybe he's got something else in common with Marcus Grönholm. It's that intense finished focus. Neither of them ever seem to blink behind the wheel.
They're very serious. They can be quite cool when they're out of the car. You know the finish way. But it's Thomas Hübinette who's got one more lap to go ahead of Thomas Heikkinen. Now the pressure is on Andy Scott. because it's the leading 2 drivers that are going to be going through to the 10-car final when they see the checkered flag in just under a lap's time.
Look at Samuel Hubinet through the water here, a little bit sideways. This guy has 2 Formula Drifting Championships, and he knows his rivals in this field very well. He and Tanner Faust and Reese Millen, who's also in this heat, have competed against each other for years in Formula Drift. This is something that Samuel's been wanting to do for a long time.
There is Reese Millen with a Hyundai Veloster at the top of your screen, the Pikes Peak hero, Reese Millen. But 4th position is for him this evening as Hubinet is coming into the chicane for the final time, and a man who did a deal only 48 hours ago is victorious and guaranteed a place in the final together with Thomas Heikkinen. Andy Scott gets 3rd position, Reese Millen in 3rd place, whilst Bucky Lasek, the man who we hardly saw much of, but a brilliant drive in 5th position. That, Jen, was one of the most competitive heats we've seen so far.
Very competitive, and with 5 cars in that heat, that means Bucky Lasek is going to be eliminated from this heat.
That's such an impressive drive from Hubinet. I really am impressed. And this is how he got the lead. Heikkinen was leading, and then he just did the block pass, didn't he? Banging orange to black, and the Saab came out in the lead.
And that's a little bit of the contact that we're going to see in the sport, and it's not going to raise a flag when they're door-to-door like that. They're just battling for position and trying to hold their line. As long as it doesn't look like a deliberate bump from behind, they're likely to let it go.
And as he crossed the line, he opens the door to celebrate, and he opens the door to really let a little bit of cooler air in. So then, Hubinet going through with his Saab together with Heikkinen and his Ford. They have advanced to the final. Meanwhile, Mike Massaro is down there with Travis Pastrana.
And it's been a crazy day all day, from Nationwide to Rallycross for Travis. How would you describe it?
Man, it's been a very long day. It was a really rough day at the office for Nationwide. I came in here first heat. Deegan was trying to square up the water, and I was thinking about getting inside him. We barely touched him, and it sheared off a bullet on the right front. So, man, that Dodge Dart, though, it's a really good car, really fast car. Came back, won the 2nd heat, and just looking forward to the main event.
I know that everybody is incredibly excited about the 2012 Global Rallycross Series, but there's a race within the race that begins in Texas. You'll have a chance to start accumulating points toward a $25,000 bonus. How much of an incentive is that for you guys?
The Discount Tire guys always trying to add a little bonus, add a little help, a little bit of fun, a little bit of something to make every race really important. So really excited to be a part of the Discount Tire guys, and you know what? It's going to be a lot of fun. Starting in Texas, 3 rounds, $25,000 for the guy that has the highest points in those 3 rounds, and you know what? I'm looking forward to this whole season, but that adds a little extra, so definitely excited.
I don't know about you, Toby, but I detected a little bit of enthusiasm in Travis's voice there.
There's nothing like a big fat check, particularly when you get out of a car that you've been racing around here. The Discount Tire Motorsports.com. It's a 3-race competition, and all Global Rallycross Championship drivers are eligible to win. The winner is going to get the trophy. It's a $25,000 check, and the winning driver is going to have the highest aggregate score from Texas, New Hampshire, and Las Vegas.
Back home again in Indiana, when I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, how I long for my Indiana home.
The Indianapolis 500, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern on ABC.
In recent years, many sports have enacted rules to curtail excessive celebration. Hey, whatever works for you.
This is fairy tale stuff. Rubber band gets the win.
Applebee's new sizzling entrees aren't just a show. There's a reason that sound instantly starts up the waterworks in your mouth. It's the sound of flavor erupting as freshly prepared ingredients sear, simmer, and caramelize right there at your table. But hey, it is a pretty good show. I'll have that. Try our new sizzling entrees like the double barrel whiskey sirloin, the new sizzling New Orleans skillet, and more starting at just $9.99. Only at Applebee's.
A city fashioned on charm and elegance is the backdrop for the most punishing event in tennis. The sun-baked clay at Roland Garros grinds down both grace and power until only tenacity and the resolve to conquer remain. The French Open begins tomorrow at 5 a.m. on ESPN2, ESPN3, and also live on Watch ESPN.
Welcome back here to Global Rallycross here at Charlotte. Now, we're racing here this evening, but earlier this week, NASCAR Cup points leader Greg Biffle swapped cars with Brian Deagle as they checked out the course in Deegan's Ford Fiesta.
As a car driver, I'm sure, like me, has a love for all types of cars, and it'll be a new experience, and I think it's going to be fun.
With us, we never use the clutch.
No,
you don't need to use it. So never use the clutch.
Just when you take off. It's funny, it's only a 2-liter, but it hauls. Like go left down the straightaway, that's going to be like a 60-foot jump, a ramp to ramp jump, and then so we kind of have to slow down for that.
I'm so used to this.
I thought I was doing good until we're going down the front. He says, yeah, right here, this is where there's a 60-foot jump. And I'm like, I'm out on that. I'm out of that. My tires are doing great on the ground. You know, I just kind of get the hang of it.
You know, there's a few moments where we hit the water, and I was like, locked up. I'm like, all right, this guy knows how to drive, though. I'm safe. So
that was priceless. We're coming down here. I just pulled high gear, and we got in that channel of water, and the car just took off, and I see him tense up over there. So I would have been doing the same thing, but you know, it was a lot of fun. It was fun. Cool. So I could do that all day.
He may well be able to think about doing it all day, Jen, but these drivers, they don't make good passengers, do they?
No, indeed they don't. Did you see Deegan's face when the Biff hit the water there? That was definitely a little bit of a panic in his face.
Yeah. Sunday nights on baseball's biggest stage, the hotly contested NL East race continues in Atlanta when the Nationals take on the Braves at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then Tuesday night, Tigers' ace and reigning MVP Justin Verlander take the mound in Beantown to face David Ortiz and the Red Sox. Both games are available on ESPN, ESPN3, and also live on WatchESPN.com and, of course, the Watch ESPN app. Now, Travis Pastrana has, well, he's been pretty active with his tweeting throughout the weekend. Indeed, he is happy to get the heat done in the Dodge here this evening. He's getting ready for the finals in the Global Rallycross. And all those problems that he had, but he all got it sorted in that final. And what a spectacular run that he gave us, Jen, with those glowing brakes. This is just brilliant. The brakes glowing away in the dark here as we prepare for the LCQ up and coming. And it's going to be a very short and sharp shock of a last chance qualifier, because we've been having 6 laps in the heat so far, but it's going to be a 3-lap dash for these cars that are coming to the line. And there's some cars, of course, that we haven't seen really properly race here so far this evening.
This is a battered and bruised group of cars here. A lot of these cars ended up in the LCQ because they had problems during their heats. Ken Block took a big hit, and here he is pulling himself to the line. So this is great. His mechanics were able to get that suspension back in order and get that car back rolling. He is not, however, going to be in the front row.
Now we've got 7 cars lining up here for our last chance qualifier. The winner and the second place man will be going through to the final. 7 cars lined up at the moment. I can just see Rhys Millen appearing from the pits and paddock area for our Global Rallycross. There he comes in the bottom of your screen. Now, we talked about Ken Block's problems. This is what happened to Ken Block even before the sun went down. Drifted over, clouted the wall. That was the very first heat that took place in the entire 2012 championship, Jen. And that battered and bruised Ford Fiesta had no steering and no chance at all.
Look at the 2 wheels facing in the front, and the rear wheel doesn't look much better.
But it's amazing that these guys in the Monster World Rally team have managed to fix it. I take my hat off and I will buy them a drink at the bar this evening. That is nothing short of heroic.
This is a pretty rough and tumble sport. These guys see all kinds of damage and they can pretty much fix anything.
Now, Mike Massaro is with Brian Deegan, who is in the last chance qualifier.
Yeah, and Brian's still sitting in his car as repairs are made to the transmission. Your thoughts now as the repairs are being made?
Yeah, they're doing everything.
Sheared in half from the sheer power of these cars sitting on my garage wall. I'd rather not look at them. They're quite expensive little parts.
Yeah, it hurts your wallet when you look at them, doesn't it?
Boy, doesn't it? Yeah. Lightweight, very strong, and very expensive.
Absolutely. Ken Block, though, on the front row with the number 43 Monster Energy Ford Fiesta. He's just been rolled back a little. I think he's going to be starting a little bit further back. Remember, Bucky Lasek there in the orange Subaru. We hardly seen much of him, but it's a debut drive in Rallycross here this evening, Jen. And another star for the future coming through.
You know what? He's one of the few drivers in this heat, I think, that completed his whole heat, who made it to the last chance qualifier. Didn't have any mechanical problems, kept his head on straight. This is his first time in this series, and I think he'll be quite a contender as he gets used to the car and gets used to the sport.
On the other part of that second row, it's Rhys Millen with the Hyundai Veloster, but on the front row, it's Tim Rooney with the black Subaru with the red eyes, Patrick Morrow, Richard Burton, and Andy Scott. Then on the second row, Sverre Isaksson. He's been moved to the front row with Rhys Millen, Bucky Lasek, and Ken Block. So Isaksson is actually on the front row with the blue and yellow Subaru. 7 cars in this last chance qualifier. It's going to be short, it's going to be sharp, it's going to be just 3 laps, and the winner and the man in second place will go through to the 10-car final in a few minutes' time. We're lining up and we're ready to go racing.
Cars in the rear are actually faster than the front row cars. This is going to be interesting.
Block has broken immediately. Ken Block's Ford Fiesta has struggled to get off the line, and the man who has taken the shortcut first off is Rhys Millen. He is now leading this race ahead of Tim Rooney. Ken Block has got going. He is in 3rd position, but a very slow start meant that Ken Block has immediately lost 5 seconds. The leader on the racetrack at the moment is Rhys Millen. There's still problems going on for the Monster Ford Fiesta of Ken Block. There is your leader. The rear door is flapping as he goes around the left-hander that is getting more and more slippery. First position comes down the back section into the Discount Tire, America's Tire hairpin turn. And Rhys Millen has got a chance, Jen, to get into the final.
Yes, he does. And look at that as the 2 tracks merge together. Oh, and Isaksson's got him.
Isaksson's taken the lead, so he was quicker on the longer lap. Isaksson, the reigning European Rallycross champion, leads this heat. Sliding over the water he goes.
And behind him is Rhys Millen with the door flapping. I've been in a rally car in X Games competition when that's happened. It's incredibly distracting, but they'll get through it, and by the next half lap, he won't even be noticing. He may, however, take it off on a barrier.
Well, it'll be a little bit cooler, that'll be the main thing for Rhys Millen down there, but he's used to the heat, he's used to the pressure. Sverre Isaksson, flame spitting from the rim, and he's got a problem. He didn't accelerate very quickly out of the discount tire, America's Tire Heaven, and he loses the lead. He loses it once, he loses it twice. Rhys Millen now retakes the lead at the beginning of the last lap. Andy Scott in second, Isaksson now. Lasek is up into third position, or is he? Yes, he is.
There goes Bucky Lasek making a pass around an ailing Sverre Isaksson. I don't know what's happened to Sverre's car there.
Well, they've got a new gearbox this weekend. It's first time out for them. And losing the lead goes Millen. Andy Scott takes the lead with half a lap to go. Millen understeered on the water as they go down to the hairpin for the last time. Andy Scott with the Eklund Scott Racing Saab leads it. Millen's got the chance to go through. Lasek's got all the work to do in third.
The top two are going to advance to this final here. That racing is going to go right down to the checker.
Oh, Scott takes it, he's going to go through. Scott's victorious ahead of Rhys Millen, who does go through to the final. Bucky Lasek, the best of the rest. How close was he? He was just 1 second away from the second position and a chance in the final. Isaksson had a problem with his Subaru. Morrow, Rooney, Block all had some other problems. What a result for Andy Scott from Scotland. Yes, he is really from there. He runs fishermen's trawlers, and he's got a massive fleet of them down in the south of England. And what a result for him, what a result from Millen. That's massive relief. Now let's have a quick look at the start, shall we, Jen? Watch Block in the middle of the second row.
Just doesn't get going. It's almost like you drop the clutch. Maybe there's a problem with their traction control program off the start. These two cars into the straightaway, and right away, here's Rhys with his door flapping.
And Millen taking the lead immediately. Then Isaksson got the lead on the next lap as the stagger unravelled. Isaksson with the blue and yellow Subaru had a problem. Millen and Scott then barged their way through with the Hyundai and the Saab, respectively. The Veloster then being passed here, as Millen just went a little bit too deep into the right-hander, but it didn't really matter. Even second place would be good enough for Rhys Millen, as Andy Scott then slid through the final chicane. He was going to take victory. He had a guaranteed place in the final. Millen, a guaranteed place as well. And that is how close Bucky Lasek was to getting a chance to race in the final. Look at that door flapping away. Well, I think his shopping's fallen out.
As I say, I've been in a car where that's happened. It does happen sometimes. They just don't latch quite right. It seems like it's closed, and it's not. And every corner, the thing flaps open and makes a whole lot of noise.
There is Andy Scott down there, winning the last chance qualifier and going through to our 10-car final, which is the next and final race. The race for the points here this evening. He's going through with Rhys Millen. Rhys Millen, with his self-built and engineered car, will be in the final. That'll be next up here, live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Stay with us.
How does good, better, best work?
Simple. A 42-inch for $24.99 a week is good. A 47-inch for a little more is better. A 60-inch for a little more than that is best.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
3 of you.
The good, better, best sale, now at Rent-A-Center.
Niagara Falls, the ultimate torture test for a deck. The ultimate protection, Thompson's Water Seal, chosen to protect the most water-drenched decks in America. The decks at Niagara Falls, Thompson's Water Seal, the most powerful protection against water damage, guaranteed.
You get in the zone long before the race. Get your head right and focus. On race day, you don't leave anything to chance. Get set every morning with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide, designed for a comfortable shave, even against the grain. Its microcomb guides hair for its thinner blades to cut close. Great starts begin with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide.
You imagine it as a kid. You promise it on draft day. It's why you play through the pain. Play no matter what. You become a champion on the court. But you really want to be up there. That's where you become a legend.
huge annual memorial sale going on right now here at Thomasville Toyota. Every new Toyota on sale. Check it out. Buy any new Thomasville Toyota, and you could get $5,000, $6,000, even $7,000, up to $8,000 cash in your pocket. You could buy a house, take a vacation, get braces for the teenager, and a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. So come on in now to Thomasville Toyota, where you drive home happy.
.com now.
Welcome back to the 2012 Global Rallycross Championship, the opening round of 5 this year. It's the second year of the championship, but here is the Puma race summary so far this evening. Ken Block had a dramatic crash at the very first heat here this evening, completely trashing the front of his monster Ford Fiesta. Then Travis Pastrana clashed with Brian Deegan, and Pastrana was out on the spot. He had to go to the last chance qualifier to see if he could get through. Then the reigning X Games gold medalist in Rallycross, Brian Deegan, had a transmission problem, but there were no problems at all for Tanner Faust, the reigning GRC champion. Then in the last chance qualifier, Andy Scott and Reese Millen managed to claw their way onto the back of the grid, where we are now going to see 10 cars line up and battle over 8 laps. The winners that we have seen so far here this evening: Gronholm, Faust, Deegan and Heikkinen. Gronholm again, Faust, Pastrana and Hubinet. And of course, big names that we are not going to see in the final: Ken Block, Brian Deegan and Sverre Isaksson. The 3-time and reigning European Rallycross champion is out here in America.
Best way to describe Travis? The guy just has more fun than anybody else I know in the world. He just wants to be the best. Wants to try everything.
How do you know which one to choose?
He's Travis, and that's his personality. Expect the unexpected. There's only one Travis Pastrana.
Be the best.
Is that okay?
There ain't no other but the one I love. Won't you come deliver me?
Everyone has an inner Mustang. Unleash yours. The new 2013 Mustang.
When you cheer, they fly just a little bit higher.
He hits it, the marble.
Go just a little bit further. They can even be perfect. And when we come together to cheer as one, we know what happens. Visa, proud sponsor of the Olympic Games for 25 years. Join our global cheer.
Back home again in Indiana, when I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, how I long for my Indiana home.
The Indianapolis 500, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern on ABC.
Global Rallycross is brought to you by Discount Tire, America's Tire, Subaru and Hyundai. Under floodlights here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Coca-Cola 600 is taking place tomorrow. The Indianapolis 500 tomorrow as well. But here, it's the Discount Tire, America's Tire starting grid for the first round of our 2012 Global Rallycross Championship. And the man on pole is the Flying Finn, Marcus Gronholm from Tanner Faust. Travis Pastrana, what a drive ahead of Samuel Hubinet. The second row, the youngster, Thomas Heikkinen, David Binks, Stefan Verdier and Dave Mera. What a lineup. This is going to be something else, with Andy Scott and Rhys Millen getting through at the last chance qualifier. Scott being victorious, Millen second place, and he is in the final. He's just coming to the grid with his Hyundai Veloster Pulse. Now they're going to be coming to the actual start line in a few moments' time, Jen. It's warm, it's sticky, your heart is thumping out of your chest. What is going through these drivers' minds?
The start here is going to be more critical than in any heat we've seen, because there are, of course, 10 cars on the line and 3 rows of cars. If you're in one of those back rows, it's hard to even see the start light go, and you just have to anticipate and just be there and try and get out front through what is a pack of cars.
And one of the problems that Marcus Gronholm, the man on pole position, even admits is he's not used to reacting to a light. He's used to a co-driver counting him down.
And we're seeing Marcus Gronholm and Tanner Faust is lining up there beside him. Tanner Faust is acknowledged as one of the very best starters in the European Rallycross Championship. And having the two of them side by side, it's going to be interesting to see their reaction times.
Tanner Faust, the 2011 Global Rallycross champion, ahead of Marcus Gronholm. This is the first round of 5 in this 2012 championship, and points are going to matter all the way. On the outside of this front row with the blue Dodge Dart, that is Travis Pastrana, and then the Saab in orange closest to us, well, that is Samuel Hubinett. More exciting racing to come that we've got. June 9 is Texas Motor Speedway. That is in league with the Firestone 550, the IZOD IndyCar race. On August the 14th, it's New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That is in league with NASCAR Nationwide 200. And then at the end of the year, it's Las Vegas in league with the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. But don't forget, on June the 28th, it's X Games in downtown LA. That's going to be the high points of our 2012 Global Rallycross Championship. Look at the heat, look at the fever, look at the power that's about to be unleashed from the rear of that Subaru. These things are just mind-blowingly fast.
Ruby red exhausts there. What these guys are waiting for is when the light goes yellow, they get a 5-second warning. Hasn't happened yet, and they will activate their launch control system. That's all the bangs and pops. It's sending all sorts of exhaust gases back out, and they get ready to go.
Marcus Gronholm on the pole position as we prepare for 8 laps and 6 miles of action here as 5,000 horsepower is about to get underway, and it does! Marcus Gronholm leads into the shortcut with Heikkinen bumping him one way, then the other, and David Binks comes through. Binks is almost in second place, but leading is Marcus Gronholm from Heikkinen, from Binks, from Rhys Millen, who's come from the back of the grid, already into 4th, and now into 3rd position. Or does he? Because Andy Scott's got a way through. I remind you, these cars have taken the shortcut. They've done it once. They can't do it again. There's a cluster of 4 cars chasing them that have still yet to do the shortcut. What a great start from Gronholm.
And Tanner Faust is leading that second pack of cars. He's actually kind of where he wants to be. He's out front of his own pack of cars, and he's going to try and stay out of that mess that is the front pack. I expect he's going to go past this shortcut on the lap.
He goes
in he goes, so he may integrate in with the pack. That may not have been a good move.
Oh, he gets second place. It's nearly there, Jen. And Pastrana's in 3rd position, wheel to wheel with Thomas Heikkinen's black Ford Fiesta. The youngsters chasing Mr. X Games himself, number 199, and he pushes him, and he touches him, and he goes, no! Pastrana's out. The suspension is damaged. We're riding on board with Travis Pastrana in the Dodge Dart, and he's got no chance at all to keep it on the straight and narrow. The right front wheel is not pointing in the direction of the steering wheel. Look at it. He hasn't got a chance, and he's pulling off. Pastrana is out of the first round of the Global Rallycross Championship.
That's a disappointment. The water on the track is very slippery. It's a traction challenge for these guys, and when they get into it, a bunch of cars at a time, it's very easy to bash doors.
Tanner Faust is in second position, chasing Marcus Gronholm down to that hairpin and down at the... Whoa, we've had a big moment here at the Discount Tire America's Tire hairpin. There's been a massive hit into the barriers. There's water all over the place, and Marcus Gronholm is going to be arriving on the scene, and he is going to have have a load of red and white barriers in his way. He's coming to that problematic area now, Jen.
Not only does he have a load of red and white barriers, he has a ton of water on the track. He's not expecting to be there. And there he goes, because he's a pro, drives around and just taps the barrier.
You can see the massive problem that these guys have got to go through, and Rhys Millen just barges his way through. Oh, that's the second shortcut for Millen.
Exactly. He thinks he might have an alternate route there. That's where the spotters come in handy. The spotters are giving these guys warnings. Hey, there's water on the track where you're not expecting it. Break down a little early.
We're riding on board with the leader, Marcus Gronholm. Dancing this Ford Fiesta, just over 2,600 pounds in weight, but 550 horsepower, four-wheel drive. Gronholm now leading. Dave Mirra has slot into second place. So he's just taken the shortcut, and he's got ahead of Tanner Faust. So Dave Mirra, what a drive away from the front of the action, and they're just going to barge their way through the barrier. Well, a little bit of carnage here, but Faust has got back into second place, Jen.
They're bashing their way through the barriers because now that they see the water on the track, they know they're empty and they're just big plastic things they can move out of the way. Faster line without them there.
Here comes Gronholm. Front brake rotors glowing under the massive stopping power that these cars have got. He's leading by 3.5 seconds at the moment from Tanner Faust in the Rockstar Ford Fiesta.
There's a big tangle on the course, and Dave Mirra gets spun out into the grass. I don't know if he's going to be able to recover from that. It looks like he can't get the car going.
The Puma Subaru has been spun out, and you know what it's like to try and start a hot car. It's so difficult under these very difficult situations where everything's all steaming hot. Now the man in third position is now Andy Scott, by my reckoning. Yes, it is. As Marcus Gronholm leads from Tanner Faust. Dave Mirra was in third. He's lost it. It's now Hübinette in the sister Saab, the orange Enios Saab, that is in that third position as Dave Mirra gets out of his car. Marcus Gronholm, he is on the 6th lap of 8 at the moment as he dances his car around the infield. And I have to say, Jen, they've been doing exactly what the scrutineers and the race direction have said. Stay off the grass, keep it for the NASCAR guys tomorrow.
Right, Dave Mirra is so upset that he got out of his car. He gets so frustrated and so emotional when things go wrong. I really feel for him. He was doing very well there.
This is the battle for third position. That was Hübinette battling with Heikkinen. There's Binks, he's a lap down in the purple car, and Hübinette knows he's under massive pressure as there is the leader, Marcus Gronholm, and he's leading by 3 seconds from the yellow Rockstar Ford Fiesta of Tanner Faust, who actually, I reckon, is closing in on the leader. But with a lap and a half to go, Faust has got a lot of work to do. This is the battle, Jen, for third.
There is a lot of traffic back there, and that's slowing that whole pack down. That's going to reduce the chances of anybody catching Faust or Gronholm.
Hübinette battling with the Saab, and Heikkinen goes through. The youngster, the flying Finn, the black car, but the man all dressed in white. Is he the Stig, is the answer. We don't know. He's going to take a tight line in, but a classy exit out. That is third, fourth and fifth. Heikkinen, Hübinette and Scott.
And these cars are all pretty well matched. Hübinette and Scott in virtually identical cars with a lap to go. I don't know if they're going to be able to catch Heikkinen.
Still leading Marcus Gronholm. He's got Tanner Faust closing in on him. He's taken as Faust another second away as we spin. Hübinette round like a record baby. He gets pushed down the order, and that now means that Heikkinen is safe in third position. But here is the class of the field. Here is Marcus Gronholm, the 44-year-old from Finland, the man who's been victorious twice in the World Rally Championship, 30 World Rally Championship victories, and he is going to win the opening round of the 2012 Global Rallycross Championship here in Charlotte. It's the win for Marcus Gronholm, second place to his teammate in the Rockstar Fiesta, Tanner Faust, and third position goes to Thomas Heikkinen in. That makes it a Ford 1, 2 and 3, just like it was at the X Games when it was Deegan, Faust and Gronholm. Gronholm, Jen, back to his winning ways.
He has to be happy about that. He was worried about his starts, but he performed flawlessly in the changing conditions with the water. Nothing surprised him. He just made it through and crossed with the checker.
Marcus Gronholm the victor here at Charlotte in North Carolina. Well, it's warming up for him back home on the Finnish-Swedish border, but he doesn't have heat like this until the middle of August. He's certainly been into the deep end with our drama here today, and what carnage that we have had. Who survived the carnage? Well, Pastrana was out, Dave Mirra was out, the Discount Tire America's Tire hairpin has been completely destroyed, and the only thing without a mark on it is the Best Buy Ford Fiesta of Marcus Gronholm.
Rallycross, sometimes it's a battle of attrition. These guys drove extremely well, and you know what? That wasn't luck on Marcus's part. That's good, clean driving and anticipating where there's going to be problems and not getting hung up in them.
He's speaking in Finnish to his crew back at base. This is the start. Marcus Gronholm with the blue Fiesta and the yellow wheels. This, for me, might have been the winning moment, but his fellow Finn Häkkinen and teammate was trying to bump him out of the race immediately.
Oh, you know what? They're friends when they're hanging around in the pits, but they put their helmets on and they're battling hard.
Then Travis Pastrana with his Dodge Dart was then pushed against the wall by Thomas Häkkinen, and Pastrana was out. He couldn't turn that wheel. The whole of the upright is trying to make a bid for freedom from the chassis. What a shame. Then we had the action down at the far end through the Discount Tire America's Tire hairpin, and that was the moment. We've got it now. So the Subaru and Binks came together, and look at the water pouring out. David Binks lost it on the brakes. He hit the tire wall, and then, well, Dave Mirra just had nowhere to go, did he? David Binks, he's been battling in the British Rally Championship, and he rather altered the course, and that now means Thomas Häkkinen. We're now getting a race direction telling us that Thomas Häkkinen is getting a black flag and he's out of the race.
So these guys are allowed to do some bashing and banging to try, but not overtake and claim a position. That was a really hard hit, and if I were sitting in Dave Mirra's car, I would want to see a black flag too. That means he's way back at the end.
So Thomas Häkkinen, he had a coming together with Travis Pastrana, and then, as we saw on board there with Dave Mirra, that has put him to the back of the field. But now down in victory lane, Marcus Gronholm is savouring the spoils.
And he is getting a big hug from his team right now as he unbuckles from the car. Looking to celebrate a big win here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. A dominant win in the final for Marcus Gronholm. He emerges victorious, takes the congratulatory comments from his team. What does this mean to you to pick up the first victory of the 2012 Global Rallycross Series?
No, of course it means a lot for the team and for myself and for the sponsor. And now we are building up the GRC here in the States, so I hope it will be more interest and new tracks and new ideas.
Congratulations on a dominant night here in Charlotte.
Yeah, thank you.
Marcus Gronholm, the winner.
Let's have confirmation of the results here this evening, and let us see. Marcus Gronholm victorious ahead of Tanner Faust. Stefan Verdier now gets third position. What a great result ahead of Andy Scott and Hubinet. Then next up, fourth and fifth. Thomas Häkkinen, he did finish on the road in third, but he had a black flag and he was put back to 10th. Let's have a look at the points. Gronholm leads as we go to the next round in Texas, ahead of Tanner Faust by 3 points ahead of Stefan Verdier. What a great race we've had here. Don't miss the next round of the Global Rallycross Championship from Texas Motor Speedway, June 10th at 1 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Coming up next, it's Sports Center Top 10. This has been a fantastic opening round of the 2012 Global Rallycross Championship. From Jen Horsey and Toby Moody, it's goodbye.
Don't blink, you might miss it.
Oh, what a catch.